everybody, it is Romania Black, and my brother has finally gotten off of work so that he can join me.
Yo.
Yeah! As we watch Arcane Season 2, Episode 1. Are you excited for this season?
A little.
Oh, a little. Yeah, you haven't watched any of the episodes yet, have you?
Nope.
Good, yes. Last time, my brother joined me as we watched Season 1. And my brother, you'd already watched the episodes when I watched it, hadn't you? Yeah. So we are both going to be going into this blind, which is super exciting. I'm so excited. There's only 8 episodes this season, right? I think there was 9 last time. There's only 8 this season, which is fine. And if I'm correct, this is the last season of this world, right?
Oh, these 2 worlds. It's Piltover and Zon.
Yeah, Piltover and Zon, this is the last time we'll experience these 2 worlds, potentially from the League of Legends universe in the series. But I'm sure they're going to do crossovers, go to other worlds. I'm sure this is not the last League of Legends inspired Arcane.
They've already established Noxus.
Yes, Mel's from Noxus.
And if you're going to have Noxus, you're also going to have Demacia.
And Demacia, which I don't... My brother is a League of Legends player. What do you play normally in that one?
I'm usually a Yordle.
A Yordle? So you are... Oh, what is his name?
Vygar.
Yeah. And then he's the Yordle that's in this series.
Heimerdinger.
Heimerdinger. You would be the Heimerdinger equivalent. I'm not surprised by that.
I play Heimerdinger.
Do you play Heimerdinger?
I love tricking people into turrets.
Ah, I love it. Tricking people into turrets. I do not play League of Legends, so I like having my brother here as a reference and resource for when there's world building things that I don't understand. But I think we both talked about last year or 2 years ago that this series is a really good job of not necessarily, you don't have to play League of Legends to understand the lore and be able to follow it, correct?
Yeah, they give enough details to where new and already existing players know.
Exactly. Yeah, you can kind of build from that and still know what's going on, right? So I did watch a recap because I did not get time to rewatch season 1, sadly, but I remembered most of it. Just going through the highlights. Obviously, poor Vander, R.I.P. Vander. He died in Act 1 of season 1. Vi and Powder, who becomes Jinx. Now, I had forgotten Jinx had got injected with the shimmer, right? Because that's why her eyes changed colors.
Yes.
And everything. She just is able to control the power of the shimmer, whereas everybody else went crazy.
She was on death's door, and he decided to use shimmer to try to bring her back, and it worked.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she was also going through a change of personality. Does she say Jinx? Does she go back and be Powder?
And I think by the end of season 1, she's not Powder anymore. She's officially Jinx.
She has embraced it.
She embraced the change of becoming Jinx. She embraced becoming Jinx and developing her identity around that. Meanwhile, Vi, who's one of my favorites from season 1, she was basically, she kind of gave Jace the boot. She was like, you're stupid for doing all this stuff. I'm going to go off and do my own thing and try to save my sister. And she ends up getting like tied. Did she escape or was she left tied up?
Her and Caitlyn.
Caitlyn rescued her. Yes.
They got untied from the chairs, and the last we saw, Jinx was using her ult to try to get that pentakill.
Yeah, so Jinx was firing the hexastone or whatever it is into where Mel and them were, correct?
The big boom.
Into the big boom, yes. And then we think that Victor's dead, correct? Because supposedly his illness had gotten really bad, right? That's what we believe. But we don't know because the hexacore, he was messing with it. So we don't know if he died or if the hexacore merged with him or what the deal is. We don't know that, right?
There are a lot of characters.
Okay. My brother,
playable.
Oh. My brother's like, he's not dead because you can play him in the game. And I'm sure how you play him in the game is probably linked to this hexacore, and I am and my brother's like, so Victor was one of my favorites. Victor was one of my favorite characters. He had the very tragic mad scientist motif, and I was rooting for him and Jace, and then he left Victor for that harlot Mel. She's fine. Mel's fine. It took me a while to get to like Mel, but I did like her by the end of season 1. But I do like Caitlin and Vi and their relationship, and then I'm rooting for Victor, which my brother's like, so we'll see what that's like. We'll see what that merge with that Hexacore looks like. I don't know, because I don't know League of Legends characters, so I will be in the dark, and we'll see. It'll be fan service for you. It will be a surprise for me. But yeah, as we know of season 1 ending, Piltover, despite its technology and progress, I did like in the recap I watched, I hadn't thought about it this way, or I had forgotten, but you had in the underground, which was Zaun, there was a lot of corruption and crime, but everyone was really tight-knit and like family because they all trusted each other, and there was a loyalty system because it was like you either band together and live or you die. Whereas on Piltover, even though it was a shining beacon and had all this technology, there was a lot of corruption, a lot of mistrust, and nobody could trust anybody. There's a lot of two-facedness and that sort of thing. So I thought that was interesting. And I hadn't really quite connected the dots there, or I'd forgotten. So, okay. Have you seen the trailers or anything for this? Because I have not.
No.
Okay, no. So since you haven't, before we start episode 1, we have 8 episodes to do. And I know the first 3 are out now as we're recording this, because they're doing them in like 3 different acts that are coming out. But we're going to go 1 episode at a time because of my bro's schedule and everything. What are your predictions for this season? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I think we're going to be seeing a few more characters being revealed.
Some more characters from the game?
Yeah.
Okay. So we didn't get all of them last season?
No. Piltover and Zaun have a lot of characters.
Oh! So we didn't get into all the characters from their portion of the game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. That's exciting. So we could have new characters. What else?
We could be seeing Heimerdinger's little journey among the Fireflies.
Because Echo, yeah.
He's pretty much told them that, yeah, you could be cautious all you want, but you got to give the people what they need to keep going.
Yes. So Echo and Heimerdinger kind of teamed up last season, so we could see more of them. I like Echo a lot. Yeah, Heimerdinger was he was like, I've seen this all before. It's all ended badly, but it's like, well, but these aren't the same circumstances they were back then. So things could change in a way that's positive, you know. I get both sides of the story. That's why this series is pretty good, because you get 2 sides of the story of why people will do things.
When he first meets Echo, he's examining his board, and he's talking about the the blades being differently pitched. And he goes, well, that's because down there the air is denser.
Right.
They need to be like that. Yes,
to understand the perspective, you got to understand the perspective of people, and it might be different than what you're used to thinking of. Yeah. I don't know how they're going to go about Powder and Vi, because they seem like, or Jinx and Vi, because they seem like they're on such opposite terms. And I don't know if the series is going to give us a happy ending, or if they're going to be like, nope, bittersweet, or if they're going to be like, can they reconcile and be sisters? Or is it like, no, they're too far gone. Jinx has a lot to answer for if she shot a missile into Piltover's capital. So it's like, ugh.
Well,
and
I don't know it was her,
but they're going to find out it's her. And then Caitlyn's with the whole not royal family, but Caitlyn's family are like nobles, and she's tied in with the police. And so it's like Vi's now with Caitlyn. So is that all going to come to play? And where's Mel's status and all this? Because we got in with like kind of like her past relationships with the kingdom she was exiled from.
And we got to see what Singe is up to.
Yeah. Singe. I forgot about Singe.
He's the guy with the giant axolotl in a bottle.
The axolotl in a bottle! Yes! I forgot about him! Because unfortunately, the foster father of Jinx, the underground kingpin, Silco, he's dead. He did. But I forgot about Singe and the axolotl in a bottle. I forgot about them. Yeah. They didn't have that in the recap. How dare they? But yeah, we've waited a good 2 years before this has come out, so I'm pretty excited to see what we're going to get. So that's exciting. But yeah, so we've wasted nearly 10 minutes. We're not going to burden you all with waiting anymore, but we're both very excited. These are going to be released whenever they happen, whenever my brother and I's schedule. We're not in any super rush. I'm sure we'll want to see the episodes once they start coming out, but we're not going to make a promise they'll be out every week or whatever. It just depends on our schedules and all that. But we hope that you all tune in with us and get really excited with us and enjoy the show with us as well. But we're not going to waste any more time. We're going to start episode 1 of season 2 of Arcane. Yes, an 1/8 of the way in. 8's my lucky number, so we'll see how that goes. And we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's make sure the volume's good and up, and let's go. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna turn the sound off on that. That episode was so freaking short. That episode was only like 37 minutes. That was not an hour long. I was prepared for an hour-long episode. Okay. What?
But they did everything they needed to do in that 37 minutes.
Okay, yeah, let's back up here. So we got the aftermath.
We've gotten the aftermath.
The aftermath, we need to start chronologically and go through. So we got the aftermath. So we lost 3 of the council members. They're Heimerdinger. What a blessing in disguise that Jason's like, Heimerdinger, you need to get off this council before it blows up.
If he was there and survived, they'd be playing his little dance, his own little dance, where he actually does a head spin with a rocket sticking out.
So, oh my gosh. So yeah, so Caitlin's mom dies. The 2 other members die. Sallow, now Mel's mom, who Mel and her mother have had opposition from the past and how things were happened on Noxus and were handled. Now she's sunk her claws into Sallow, but Sallow's pretty easily manipulated, so I'm not surprised. They need to also make this place ADA accessible now, because Sallow having to go down them stairs was pretty bad.
Give them a year, they'll probably make like a crab
No,
chair.
I'm gonna stop you right there. At the crab chair. They built that statue of those 3 people in like a week. They couldn't build a ramp. I couldn't put a ramp in.
He just came out of the hospital.
Maybe.
The poor guy didn't even have shoes.
Oh my god. Okay, so Victor is now, he is either Zordon from Power Rangers, or he is have you seen Doctor Who episode where it's the future and she's the moisturize me, and she's got like the face in there and she's like, moisturize me. She's like at the skin, the last human on Earth. That's what he reminded me of. So obviously Victor is going to play a part in this season, I am sure. You can answer this in a very quick and casual yes or no. Is Victor's final form Moisture Man?
No.
Good. That's all I want to know. Poor Victor, though. So what were you saying about the explosives? You were talking about the explosives at the beginning. What were we saying about, because he was...
The crystal, as we know, whenever they're physically hit...
When they're physically hit...
They explode.
That's
what caused Jace to be caught using the magic crystals in the first place.
Yes, because it powder and it exploded in the apartment. Yes. Okay.
In this case, he saw that something was going on. He had one of those crystals mixed in with the leg.
Oh.
So he took him back to the facility.
To
contain it. Then he saw that the core was interacting with him, which he found out in the last season when some of his blood got mixed into the... And
his blood got into the core, and so it fused there.
And it started to stabilize.
So it stabilized, so him using the core on him, it all just kind of makes sense. He could use the core to stabilize him and keep him from dying.
Yes.
So he's basically... Victor's become Iron Man. He basically now has the core as his heart, basically keeping him alive.
Yeah.
Well, it's like... It's kind of a good news and bad news for Heimerdinger, because if Heimerdinger finds out, it's like, on the one hand, you've played God and made this hexacore, but on the other hand, now Victor can only use it. They can't use it to create infinite weapons. It's just Victor, right?
Not true.
Okay.
They're using the core to study magic, study runes.
They're using the core to study it.
They're using the core to study how to create the runes in order to use the magic.
Oh, so they could still make another one. Another hexacore if they wanted to.
As he showed, he was made all that weaponry for them.
Yeah, so it's really not... They could make another one and then...
Well, they can't make another one of those cores.
Not one of the cores, because it's fused with Victor. So that makes sense. Okay. I do like... We're going to be looking at the OP every time. I do like the idea of Victor with the mask. I do like that idea, and that gone on there. I'm watching Bloom Into You, which has a pink-haired protagonist that is dating a purple-haired protagonist that have links to flowers that are pink and purple. I'm just saying, did this show possibly base Vi and Caitlyn off of that and every other Yuri pair in anime? Probably.
Those two have been together since the beginning of League of Legends.
Have they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Their whole thing is that they're partners.
Okay. I mean, I love it. I keep thinking it's going to be like a doomed Yuri and they're going to break them up. But I was like, I guess what I like about it is that I'm glad that at first Vi said no to being on the Force because, I mean, from...
Still has some trauma.
Well, it's not just the trauma, but from like her perspective, yeah, I thought that was great when Caitlyn's like, well, you don't know what it's like to lose a parent to the other side. And she's like, yeah, I do. Or Vi said that and Caitlyn responded. But I think the big difference is that at the end of the day, Jinx is her sister. So it's not just the fact of we've both lost parents to the other side, but the perpetrator is my flesh and blood and only family left. So it adds that kind of, you know, even if she's like, powder's gone, it's just Jinx, there's still the fact of like, are you willing to like kill your family? You know, that's a big thing. And I'm glad that Vi at first said no, but then she's like, yeah, it's one of those things. If Vi doesn't step in and do something, then
it's going to keep getting worse.
It's going to get worse and she has to have a part in it. Otherwise, like she thinks she can stop Jinx and she can be the one to take her down.
Now I'm thinking she realizes that Jinx's actions are causing the rest of Zon.
That's the thing too, is that Jinx could, you know, they could scapegoat Jinx as the cause of all this, but Jinx really isn't the cause of all of it. Like Jinx is acting as her own individual agent, but like you have Silco influencing the mom that causes the attack here. And then you have, on the other end, you have Singe, who's kind of an offshoot of Silco too. So they're all going to blame Jinx, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like Silco and the Underground kind of started all this. In a way. I mean, he definitely encouraged it.
And a majority of those people in the first season sided with Vander over Silco.
Yes, but Vander's gone now, so it's like there is like a vacuum there, and it's just kind of chaotic, right? Mm-hmm. I did like the funeral scene was really good, and showing Vi the whole time. I don't like Sallow at all. I cannot take him. He's so wormy.
Well, as we saw in the first season, he was friends with the bald guy off the record.
Oh!
The two of them were at the opera.
Oh!
They were talking. They had a common interest in there. While in the council room, they may have been opposed. Outside of that room, they were drinking buddies.
Yeah, so it's like, I can't trust Sallow at all. I think he's just in there for his own personal interest. And the mom, she knows that, and she's like, well, I'm just going to exploit that because you seem like you're easy to manipulate. I wouldn't be surprised if Sallow does something stupid that gets to the disadvantage of the mom.
I agree Salvo is an idiot, but he does have a kind of a point. The Underground right now is being, Zon's being allowed to run free. Mm-hmm. They've already, and as we saw later, they attack a memorial.
Yeah, and it wasn't Jinx this time. It was the mom and her forces.
Yes, so it shows that Jinx isn't the only person.
Right.
And with them having access to those Chemtech soldiers.
Mm-hmm. I feel like you're right that Vander was kind of, even though at the time Vi thought it was a betrayal that he had an agreement with the police, he really was keeping everything okay. And from it was regulated enough to keep it from going out of hand. And once he was gone, it's like, there's no...
It became a powder keg down there.
Powder keg with Jinx!
With a match, with a lit wick slowly burning until now it's exploded.
So the one thing from the recap I kind of glossed over was Singe. Like, what was Singe's whole, from the beginning...
He was the one creating Shimmer.
Yes, he was the creator of Shimmer, and Silco was just distributing it.
Yes.
Right. And so now he's like just got free reign to do whatever he's like a drug dealer with all the resources.
Well, he's not really a drug dealer. He never actually...
He's the creator. He's the chemist.
He made the stuff. He showed him how to make it, and then he was slowly improving it. Silco just gave him the funds and the resources to keep doing that.
Okay, so Silco was kind of like the dealer / pharmacy where it was all being stored at, and he was the chemist and the creator of it, essentially.
Taught them how to make it. That's why they had those big factories.
Okay. And now we'll get to the wolves. We'll get back to the wolves. I do like the one lady, she's got the golden like half mask now, looking all badass with her little bejeweled mask thing. Okay, question. How do you feel about Mel?
In the first half of season 1, anytime she came up, I kept thinking of the lyrics, "She ain't nothing but a gold digger."
Jamie Foxx is singing in the back of Ray Charles.
She's developed actual feelings for Jace.
Yeah.
She cares for him enough to want to keep Hextech from becoming the weapons, even though she could make lucrative deals and earn a lot of favor with Noxus. She's choosing to not be the big political star, instead be the person that's keeping the weapons from being on the table.
Yeah, I'm with you. The first half of season 1, I didn't care for her because she seemed fake and she seemed like she was corrupt like so many of the other ones. But then, like you said, once you figured out she actually does like Jace, it's not, because I was like, is this all a trap? Does she not really like him? But she does. And when you find out she's trying to get away from her mom and that corruption, and she's trying to do the right thing, but that's hard when you got circumstances X, Y, and Z. I do like her a lot more. I feel for her. I thought she was going to die this episode.
That missile was heading right for her back.
I thought it wasn't a flare. I thought it was a gun. And so when he hit her with it, I was like, why'd you hit her with the gun when it's right there? But it was a flare. And I thought he was going to kill her. I thought this was going to be like, she was going to be the first. Because the only thing I've seen going into the season is there was one like little article where the creators are like, oh, who knows who'll live and die. Oh. I was like, that's very Game of Thrones. So I thought we were going to have a death like right off the bat in this episode.
No, we've had too much death.
We've had too much death. We can't do that.
We've killed 3 councilmen. Who knows how many chem soldiers? How many enforcers?
Technically, those councilmen and stuff died at the end of season 1. So do we count them as deaths in season 2, episode 1, or do we?
Don't see the bodies. They ain't dead.
No body, no death. So okay, we'll count them as the deaths for episode 1. All right. I feel bad for the dad.
Yeah, he's got that. I've been drinking since 4 this morning.
That and that I lost my partner syndrome as well. So what do we think about the thing that she got, the family crest that has secret knowledge in it? We'll go back to that. We're going to go back to that when we get to that. I want to think about that for a hot second. Who's this guy?
I don't know.
No, he, like you said, when he showed up, he kind of looks a little bit like Vander. So I was like, maybe that's why my memory is like, he's someone familiar. He's clearly just like a drunk soldier down on his luck. But I'm like, there's something about him that feels like we should know who he is, but we don't, unless he's just meant to remind us of Vander and he's going to be like kind of a pseudo father figure.
Something I noticed, both during the fight and when they showed all the guards together, he was carrying a shield.
He was carrying a shield. Yeah.
One of Vi's old friends, when they were doing fights, he used like an old door and stuff as shield.
Oh, one of her friends back at the beginning of season 1 used a door as a shield.
Yeah, the big one.
Oh, do we think he could possibly be the friend from that like got up there and joined the police? And because he's a drunk, so he's kind of like, has that kind of edge to him where you're like, oh, is he kind of corrupted from? I don't know. I forgot about that. I definitely think that he's somebody we need to watch because he's going to be.
He pretended to be asleep when they were talking about her going after Silco, and that seemed to really catch his interest.
The Silco, once Silco was mentioned, he was like, oh, yeah, about that. So he either has a connection to Silco and Vander from the past, or he's one of Vi's old friends that she doesn't recognize. Or, yeah, the show has made it very intentional that we should be watching him for whatever reason it is. I'm so glad that the Scottish girl, oh, wee Bonnie Scotland, she didn't die. I thought she's going to die in this. And Fishman that's with her. I thought they were going to die.
0 lines, but we still love it.
As soon as we saw that fish person, I knew you were going to love them because I was like, my brother loves bug people and sea creature people, monster folk. As soon as we saw that fish person, I'm like, oh, that's going to be their favorite character in this episode. Like, no lines, all heart. Won the heart of the people. Poor Jace. Poor Jace is just a lovable himbo. We love ourselves a blacksmith whose bestie is stuck in a cocoon.
Who's stuck playing a Wish version of the Magic Mirror.
A Wish version of the Magic Mirror. That's great. I feel like Mel's like, if this works out, we could be a threesome in this, because this could work. My brother's not a shipper, so my brother's like, no, I'm not a shipper. I'm all ships. I've commanded a fleet. I will have an Arcane navy by the time this is over. I do like the symbolism of Jace using the cane and steadying himself on it while she's talking to him. I do really like that. That's nice. Like, he's not, one thing I didn't like about Mel from season 1 was I loved the friendship between Jace and Victor, and I felt she was getting in the way of it, like, as you do. And so that was one thing I was afraid of, was I thought leaving season 1, I'm like, is this going to ruin the friendship? Because Jace and Victor developed this great friendship between the two of them. And here, this looks like where my brother is giving the most dubious look. The most dubious look. The most dubious girl, you don't know what's coming look.
My fellow players, please do not put in the comments about Victor and Jace from the game. She doesn't need the ship to mutiny.
Ship to mutiny? Ship to mutiny! Okay, well, you keep your secrets. Keep your game secrets till we're through season 2. We'll just keep your secrets from now. We'll see how that comes up. But it seems now that there's at least cohesion. Like Jace is being a good friend and feeling bad that his life was saved by his friend again. Of course, the question's going to be if Victor wakes up and finds out that they're using Hex Tech to go purge the underground because Victor has a past history with the underground. How's that going to go?
They're not doing it on the large scale.
Right.
At most, he's probably made like 5 inventions for them to take.
But I'm sure Sallow and the mom want to probably weaponize it and make it a whole thing.
They will, but there's one problem with that. There's only currently 2 people, one of them is indisposed, that know how to use the crystals, that know how to implement them into weaponry, gadgets,
right?
All of that.
The problem that I think is something that the series is going to have to face, because while there's just 2 people that know how to use the Hex Tech, there are becoming more and more people that know how to use Shimmer and know how to use that. So that's going to be a problem.
Well, technically 3 people know how to use the course, because Jinx was able to make the rocket.
Right, because Jinx can use it and Singe can use it, and the other person was the mom, and she did now. But still, the fact that they can weaponize it is going to be a problem. Poor Victor. I feel for him. I really like the fountain scene with the flowers, the flower petals dying, the symbolism with the petals. That's really good. I thought when Caitlyn was going to fire the gun at Jinx in the flashback, I thought that they were going to show Vi in between Jinx and her. Because I keep thinking that's going to be the conflict.
Or like flashes, and all of a sudden instead of Jinx, it's Vi.
Oh, so instead of her shooting Jinx, she shoots Vi instead?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I keep thinking that's going to be the big conflict, because at the end of the day...
Kind of like that revenge, but at what cost?
Yes, like at what cost are we getting revenge? Because at the end of the day, even though Vi wants to go find Jinx, she's never said kill Jinx. She's like, I'm going to go find my sister, bring her in, but she's not talking about...
No, she's accepted Powder's gone.
Right.
Meaning that she knows that she's got to capture Jinx.
Right, but I don't think Vi wants to kill her, though, because at the end of the day...
Have her thrown in the prison she was put in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and knowing Vi, she'd be like, well, I can rehabilitate her. I can do this. It's like,
She's already tried that.
Right,
and
but...
ended up with the Tea Party of Doom.
The Tea Party of Doom! I do like that Jace kind of agrees with Vi, though.
Well, he was down there. They took out one factory, but because that one kid died, he was like, no, this is too much.
Mm-hmm.
We should not be doing this. And now he sees that if they had pushed, maybe they could have drawn Jinx's attention away from launching that rocket to confronting them. Yeah.
So I definitely agree with Caitlyn's idea that we need a small scale force to go down there. If you go down there with an army, then like what Sallow... Yeah, if you go down there with the army, then what Sallow's doing is like, it's going to just unite the base down there. And they're going to be like, oh, look how Piltover is. This is how they all are. They're all against us. Let's join forces. But if you just go after a select few to weed out, then and if it goes if it goes undetected, if it goes unnoticed, if they sneak down there and nobody knows they're there and there's no explosions or anything that would draw attention and
going back, that might be what that key is. It's a hidden entrance down.
Oh, and that's why she's like, we're gonna take a force down into the underground that way.
That was what a special unit would use in order to infiltrate.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So yeah, the whole ceremony sneaking in, it felt very Dark Knight. It felt very Joker, and that scene with the Joker in the police uniform. The moment in this series you don't see people's faces, it's like you should be aware of them. I thought it was Jinx at first under one of the costumes.
Nah, she would have been alone if it was her.
That's true. Jinx would not have. That is Jinx's only. I think the only saving grace is that Jinx doesn't have people following her. She does work alone.
But her actions reflect on all of Zaun. That's the thing. She's that much of a chaotic person that her just kicking a can is already getting them thinking, oh, Zaun is kicking the can.
I am so curious about, there's the Pixaxe.
Yeah, it was emergency axe.
Oh, yeah, and then that's what they throw at the monster later, isn't it?
Just something they keep in all vehicles, the emergency axe.
The emergency pickaxe! You gotta break the ice and stop the shimmer infested. I thought I liked the fight scene with Jace and the mom. That one was really good. But damn. And then Jace and Vi working together. Jace is like, you can't use my hammer, girl. That's for me. Get your gauntlets. Go get your gauntlets. So, all right. I'm glad that Caitlyn and Vi are at least back together. I was like, don't have a breakup and then not be, I hate the miscommunication trope. I'm like, just solve your stuff and get back together. And I'm like that they work things out and communicate and work through it. They agree to disagree. They move forward. It's healthy.
Well, now they both see that this problem needs to be dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to happen quickly, but they can't let it, because if they let it sit, the attacks from underground are going to become more frequent.
Yes.
And that council they're only going to be able to delay the hex tech option for so long.
Yeah, I liked Caitlyn was like, if we don't go now and do this mission, then the Solo's going to take that opportunity to be like, well, this is all the options that we have, and they're going to let it get out of hand. And that's not good. So I want to look at this real quick with the thing that her mom shows her, because she's like, this is our family heirloom. I love everything is like Wizard of Oz green themed. I love that. Okay, so there's the family.
There's like
crest.
A hidden projector system.
I like the hidden projector system. And then like all their, it's like the old fashioned slides in the little,
But it's feeding the images up to that mirror.
Yes, I love this steampunk computer.
It was a hidden picture thing.
A hidden computer this entire time. A hidden picture thing. Okay, so there's Piltover. Down there is the underground. Looks like a vault. Yes, a vault entrance there. Yes. Oh, and then there's them cutting
guards with face masks hiding their presence.
And if there's, fumes or anything down there in the underground, then they're in the ribbon cutting for it. Okay. And she's like, oh, interesting. So then what else are you looking at, girl? There's the gas masks for getting down there. And human anatomy, like the effects on the lungs and stuff down there, which we know from the underground. Oh, and then there's this giant pume of smoke and stuff there.
Kind of like a demon face.
Mm-hmm. I like the juxtaposition of Jace making the weaponry with it. Yeah, so it's like the smog coming up from the underground, which we talked about. It was toxic before. Okay, and then there's all the workers down there in the factories. Okay, and the demon in front of her face. That's a good symbolism there.
It also kind of looks like there's a champion in League of Legends called Nocturne.
Ooh.
It's like this shadowy figure.
Ooh.
With blades and stuff, and his face is just like black smoke with like the white eyes.
So do you think Nocturne could be a character we encounter in this if they go underground?
His whole thing is fear.
Well, I mean... What would be inducing that in this season?
There's two characters that do that. Both of them are demons.
Okay.
But one of them also is a scarecrow that can mimic the voices of other people that you care about.
Oh. Well, if there was going to be a bad guy in this season they haven't revealed yet, that would be a pretty bad thing if they could use like Vi's voice while Caitlyn's around, or vice versa.
It's usually around Demacia.
Oh, so it may not be in this world.
It might not be in this location.
But Nocturne could be.
He could be.
Okay, so we might keep our eyes out for that. That'll be interesting. Okay, so, and then they're debating on what to do. And I did love Caitlyn coming in and being like, shut the F up, Solo. I'm an officer. Let me do my business. And then,
be careful before you go down some stairs.
Yeah. And then, of course, I like Vi with the...
I like this look.
Mm-hmm.
Every game of League of Legends, it's a 5v5.
Oh! It's a 5v5. Yeah. So...
You have Caitlyn as a bot
with the sniper rifle. You freaked out over the gun. So the gun is the gun.
That's her gun. That's what
her...
she uses. The 3-scope.
Oh, the 3... Okay, the 3-scope gun. Okay.
She'd be in the bot lane alongside the guy with the shield. He'd be support.
Okay, and he's got the giant shield. Yeah. She's got the Scottish girl has like the little short...
Either her or the fish guy would be mid or top lane, and then you have Vi in the jungle.
Okay.
So
with the gauntlets.
That is a full team right there.
Okay, so, oh, that's fun! Into the episode having a 5-team. Nice. Call back to the game. And then, of course, we have to end on Victor. Well, before we get to Singe. I'm like, and it's all, has it been growing over his face the whole episode? Is that, because
I think it's staying where it is, but you see his eyebrows move, so he's getting close to waking up. I think by the third episode of this series, he's going to wake up.
You think by the third? Well, if they do it in 3 acts, then the third episode would be the end of Act 1, so that would be...
He'd wake up, and then in the second act, he'd be finding out everything that's happened to him because of that thing, and then embracing who he is in the end.
Okay, you freaked out over the wolves.
The wolves are a creature in the jungle of the game.
And you said that Vi is going to be interacting in the jungle. So she could possibly interact with the wolves, maybe?
Looks like he's going to capture the wolves. Singe's whole thing in the game is that he has this giant vat on his back. He doesn't do a lot of damage, like punching people. His whole thing is you activate the tonic, it creates a poison cloud behind him as you chase him. Then he grabs people and throws them behind him into it. And he also throws vials and stuff out to slow people, poison them.
Because he has the vials to throw at the wolves and all that. Anytime there's giant wolves in a show, it usually doesn't bode well. Usually doesn't. My brother's face. If y'all can see his face, I'm like, it usually doesn't bode well. Can't talk about that yet. I thought that was a great first episode. Heavy is the crown. Is like, yeah, you want to take on all this responsibility.
It shows aftermath, and then it sets up the new plot.
Yep, you want to take on this responsibility. Fine, be that way. But you're gonna have to deal with all the repercussions of it. I'm so excited. I'm liking the second season a lot so far. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, thoughts about episode 1?
Gonna have to go with 9.5.
9.5.
I'd like to at least know the name of that new guy.
Fair. I would agree with that. I would at least like to know his name.
Introduced him, gave him a big part, saving that girl, being able to pick up a piece of metal and hold back.
Yeah.
Giant ass chem soldier.
Yeah. I'm gonna say I like the mystery of not knowing who he is, but I wanted a little bit more with him. But I'm hoping.
I'd like him to say a name.
Yes.
Not give us his whole background, but
no, too much sudden backstory.
At least be like, hey, the name's blank.
Yeah. I'm curious about him, and I'm very curious to see what this group of 5 because if it's 5 on 5, they're not gonna fight Jinx. Jinx is by herself.
Well, that's how it is in the game. It's 5v5.
So, but I can't
going down there and fighting a whole bunch of people.
Oh, that's what I mean. I can't picture Jinx teaming up with 4 other people. I just can't see that. But if they go down there and there's 5, different minions or whatever for Singe or however that goes, I could see that, I guess. So, I won't be surprised if we don't see Jinx until episode 3 either. I mean, maybe we'll start episode 2 with her, who knows, but...
We may start episode 2 with Echo and Heimerdinger.
Wait, we still have Echo and Heimerdinger. We don't know what they've been up to. There's a lot of characters in this, so...
That's how it was in season 1.
Yeah.
The first 3 episodes were introductory to
Uh-huh.
everybody.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I'm going to be curious to see, so I don't know. Y'all, we are excited about Arcane, but we are very curious to see your comments down below. Now, I'm going to try to stay spoiler free in the comments, so please no spoilers. There's only 8 episodes, so we'll get to all the spoilers by the end of it. But I'm super excited, and I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and my bro and I will be back for episode 2 of Arcane. Bye!